Are you looking for medical advice or expert opinions?
If so, this is not the podcast for you.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Ben, and we're the parents of 4 fantastic children who know just how to push our buttons.
Poor Parenting is a collection of stories from our experiences, our friends, and our listeners of the crazy stuff that parents go through every day.
Let's hang out and share a drink.
Subscribe! This is legit, huh? This lemonade and iced tea put together with a little goose.
Oh, you put the goose in?
Mm-hmm. Put a double shot in there.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm training. Somebody listening to this podcast is going to be like, woohoo! Training. It's good, right?
It's good.
Yeah, a little lemon tea with some goose. I don't know how,
What are we talking about?
I'm talking about the parenting tips. So there's a Facebook group that I follow, Parenting Tips. And I follow it because I get a lot of good ideas. I get advice, guidance. I read other people's problems to make sure that my own aren't that bad. So this one guy, he commented, and I immediately related to him because his comment was something like, my son is 17. He's always been a decent kid. All of a sudden, he's staying in his room. He's getting disrespectful. I'm asking him if all of his work's done, and he's telling me yes. And then a week later, he's got 5 zeros. So I'm like, hello, sound familiar?
Fuck.
So I'm reading this, and I'm like, first of all, we just talked about this in our last podcast because we were doing a podcast, and I got an email during the podcast from Jason's guidance counselor that if he did not turn in his final video, he's not going to pass the class. So I read this Facebook post.
Breaking news. He actually did turn in the video and still failed.
So, sometimes it doesn't matter how much therapy you get a kid, how often you talk to them, how many books you read as a parent. Sometimes you just have to let them fail.
Oh, yeah, no. So, quick story. I was at PetSmart today grabbing dog food, and there was a girl in there. She couldn't have been 16, 17 maybe. And she's in there, like, looking at goldfish. And her phone rings. She puts it on speakerphone. I was like, oh, somebody's got to teach this girl what's up. Like, you're in public, you don't put it on speakerphone. And it was her mom, and she goes, "Hey, Mom," like all chipper. And then her mom's like, "You failed math." And I was like, oh, my ears perked up real quick, and I was
Who was
like,
your teacher? Do you go to Exeter?
And I go, uh-oh, somebody else has the same issue I have. And so I hang out by the goldfish a little bit to listen, and her mom's like, "You didn't do this, you didn't do that," and she's like, "Oh, I guess I forgot, or I didn't do it," and
Typical teenage.
Oh well,
Yep.
I'll see if I can make it up. And her mom's like, "No, you dummy, you can't make it up. Today was the last day of the market period. It's a holiday." And
Haven't we been saying that for 3 weeks to Jason?
And then her
Yep.
mom's like, "Get your ass home," and she still didn't take it on speakerphone. And I was like, wow, this chick's dumb.
Well, and I'll tell you, kids are going to be kids, right? They got to fail, but obviously we want to shield them as best we can. But there were some really good comments on that feed. There was another post from another mother who said her 4-year-old just was bothering literally mentally bothering her.
Just setting her off.
Setting her off. Yeah.
Well, depending on when that was written, I can only imagine that this quarantine and this virus and all that has just been you trapped in a house with the same people, like you don't get out. I'm sure it's not just driving the kids nuts, it's driving the parents nuts, it's driving relationships nuts.
Oh yeah. How many times did we call our parents and my grandmother and say, "Do you want your grandchildren?" Because we don't. We just need a break. We
don't. We just needed a breather, and it was just a lot. Nobody was prepared for it.
Cooper, sometimes I want to reach out and touch, but I don't dislike him.
Well, that's just, yeah.
Yeah, that's just
at some points he's just nonstop, and you're trying to do something, and he's just.
Oh yeah, and
and it's just like, yo, calm down.
Yep. Oh, and he's so quick to be like, "I don't want to live here anymore. You're not a good mom. I'm going to live with the neighbor." I'm like, peace out, bro.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah. I ran away when I was 8 years old. My sister pushed me out the damn window, and I ran away down the street to Elizabeth's house. I was down at Liz's house, and she listens to this podcast. So Liz, you're going to like this one. because she shoved me right out the window. I actually think we might have done a podcast on this or we were talking about doing it. But yeah, when I was 8 and I didn't like my parents, I friggin' ran away to the neighbor's house. I got to text Jill and be like, Jill, if you ever get a little knock on your door with a suitcase, just take them. Just keep them for a day or two.
Suitcase, he's going to wear the same damn shorts for a week.
He never changes his clothes. I do think, though, it does make sense to let Jill know, like, one day he may just come knocking on the door. Yeah. I did it. And Liz's mom called my mother and said, Amy's here. And she said, leave her there for a couple hours. Let her cool down, leave her there. Because I was 8 with an attitude. So, and he's 6 with an attitude, so it's only a matter of time. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Poor Parenting. If you have moments that have you scratching your head, screaming, smiling, and swearing at your kids, visit our website at poorparenting.live, where you could even be a guest on our show. Until then, cheers from Ben and Amy.